Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Hey, what's going on, Sofia? Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm here.
Yeah?
I'm better than last week.
Yeah, you definitely are.
I called out for the podcast last week, guys. I was like, look, I'm burnt out.
Hey, look, I almost fired her on her day off, too. Like Friday. I was almost fired. I was always like, look, you ain't got no job. I was getting ready to tell her that, but nah, we need her, man. She's a vital part of the show, obviously. But
I was so tired. I was like, look, yeah, they going to have to wait a week.
Keep them waiting. I like it.
And I don't usually call out for anything.
Yeah, but it was, how you feeling? You feeling better now, right? You here?
I'm still tired, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that would have been a good look.
No, that's not a good look at all.
Yeah, there's a lot been going on, though, right?
Yes. The past 2 weeks, a lot has has happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, daylight savings happened.
Yeah.
So that definitely messed quite a few people up.
Yeah, I think I finally, because that was now 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe earlier this week I finally got, like, I would say my body clock got caught up to, the actual universe clock. Because I was still tired, I was staying up later because I would normally go to sleep at a certain time, and I was tired early in the morning because of the time springing forward. So it took me a little bit to adjust. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think we talked about it on the previous episode. The daylight savings time thing, I think, it's kind of, I don't know, it's one of them things where they've made a lot of changes now in the modern day. I feel like they can kind of go away with it, but it's cool. I get it. I understand. I mean, definitely in the summertime, it's lighter, or it's sunnier, a lot longer. So 7:30, 8 o'clock, the sun's still out. So I get it. I understand. It's cool.
I actually don't mind daylight savings because I feel like once we fall back in the fall, it helps with me and the kids because my kids don't really, well, the younger two, when it comes to telling time, because they're so young, my 7-year-old, she could tell time just fine, but she also uses the sun clock, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as she sees sun, it's time to get up before she even see the real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with bedtime. So if it's, getting dark earlier, it kinda feeds into down, that. Yeah, like it's time to.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Especially for the little kids. Now for the older kids, it don't matter.
Yeah, they don't care.
They night owls. Yeah,
they on 10 all day, every day. Yeah, I feel you.
They waiting for your parents to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So they can talk on the phone and play video games and all that crazy stuff, homework.
Yeah, it was crazy. 'Cause that weekend for daylight savings time, we had went down to the house we have in the Outer Banks, our beach home. It was pretty cool. We had a good time. The kids, they loved it. They was running up and down the house, up down the steps, because it's a tower room, so it's technically three stories, I guess you could say, because it's a small tower room where you can kind of see like above everything. It's really, really dope at nighttime, like seeing the sunset up there or the sunrise. But the kids had a really, really good time. Excuse me. We went and ate at this place we always go to. I honestly think there's a place called Island Smoothie that is really, really good. Their smoothies are like the best smoothies I've ever had. Like, they're so fresh, so good. So I was shocked to see that they were open, because they typically don't open until April when the season starts. So it seemed like they opened up a couple weeks earlier. So that was pretty cool to be able to partake in a couple of smoothies out there. But it was cool. We went down to the beach. Weather was still pretty cold. It was in the 50s, but the kids was running around getting seashells and, when the water, playing the game, when the waves come, like, get close and then try to run away so that we don't get wet. So it was cool. We had a really, really good time just kind of checking out the house before the season starts come April 1st. So it was pretty cool.
And when you say season, what season you talking about?
Oh, yeah, right. Like, I'm talking like season, like it could be like a show or something, right? The season is we rent the house.
They do have a show called Outer Banks.
They do. Actually, like, have you seen it before?
No.
Okay. Yeah, actually, like, I started watching the third season. It just came out like 2 weeks ago, and it was kind of whack. But the first two seasons was pretty fire. It's pretty cool. But it's like, it doesn't look like the Outer Banks, though. That's the only thing about it. Like, it looks like it, but you could, like, if you've been down there, it doesn't look like it like that. So that's the only thing.
But a lot of these shows, like, if it has a name, on the show. A lot of them aren't even filmed in the same city.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I would think that
I remember back in the day, right? What was it? Not Law and Order. What was the other criminal show?
Not Law and Order.
And it was something Miami.
Oh, CSI.
CSI.
Yeah. They not in Miami?
No.
You lying.
I am not lying to you.
I learned something today. I used to watch that. The dude Horatio.
Yeah, I was trying to, Horatio. So,
yeah.
So, when I first moved there, or not when I first moved there, but like probably a little bit before that, I was like, oh man, like, they filmed that down here. I would love to like see it in action or whatever. Nah. They filmed like some of the wider shots, like when they're going across the MacArthur, the bridge to South Beach. They'll film like that type of stuff, kind of like how they did in the Will Smith movies, like some of them bigger scenes. Like at least with Will Smith movies, they were really in Overtown. They was really in some of the Miami areas, but. Not CSI. It was somewhere. I think when I Googled it and figured it out, it was like Atlanta and like LA. Like that's what they were using.
You just messed my. I ain't gonna say my childhood up, but I used to watch CSI Miami religiously. But another thing is you always find a way to mention Miami on these podcasts. I find that very funny.
We talk about Virginia every day.
That's where we at. Let's keep it that way. That's where we at.
Okay. Well.
But going back to season, to answer your question, our house, we have it rented during the season of like spring and summer. So a lot of folks like to go and stay down there between April 1st and like mid-September, right after Labor Day. So we really don't get to stay there during like the time of when most people like to go to the beach, I guess you can say. So we like to try to enjoy the home like right before that season kicks off and then right after, so we can still kind of get the appeal and get the feel of the season, but obviously benefit financially from it because that's when we can charge the most is during the season. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So besides daylight savings, besides the beach house, what else you have going
on? Not much really. The cigar lounge that I was working on, we kind of got a curveball thrown to us, so we're trying to figure it out. The location there, they're not letting us do what we thought we were going to be able to do. So we're still looking at some other avenues. So trying to keep hope alive in that regard. I did get a massage last week, which was pretty cool because I hadn't gotten one in a minute. So that was pretty cool. I tried a new place down there at the Cavalier. So that was really, really nice. They have a really nice spa. I definitely would go back and check it out. It's just a really far drive. That's the only thing. So it's like the drive way out there. But like I said, they have a very nice setup. It's very, very nice. So I definitely will try to check that out again.
See, massage is not my thing. But what I do want to try, have you ever done reflexology?
Nah, I don't think so.
It's like a type of massage for your feet.
Oh, I have. I have then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have then. Yeah, because there's a place called Relaxed Feet in like Greenbrier-ish area off of Volvo that I went actually during the holidays. Brooke told me, I don't know how she knew about it. Somebody told her about it or something. She may have stumbled upon it herself. But yeah, we both went and checked it out. And I actually got my my parents' gift cards there for the holidays because it was cool. Like they give you, like you said, they massage your feet and everything, and your calves and all that, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's what I want to try.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was dope. It was dope. I still like the full body massage, man. I don't know, it just feels good. I mean, I got my neck and my back is
my neck and my back.
Yeah, my neck and my back is it's kind of quirky a little bit because just the trauma I've had playing sports my whole life. So to sit there and kind of get massage and kind of get those muscles relaxed, I mean that it normally feels pretty good right after it. So I got a buddy of mine. He said he goes every 2 weeks. I was like, dang.
To get
a massage. Yeah, I was like, dang. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I go that frequently, but I'm gonna start maybe trying to go like once a month. I think once a month isn't too bad. So I'm gonna try to incorporate it because I feel so good right after it. So I'm like, I kind of want to just relive or have that feeling over and over and over.
The last time I got a massage, I I don't even remember when I got it, but when I did get it, I was in pain afterwards. Like I felt like I got my butt whooped, like somebody just clean cold, like was beating my body up. Like,
real?
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. I don't
I mean,
like that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, I've felt that way as well. I mean, especially when they give you the deep tissue massages. I mean, you just gotta tell them the low pressure. You know, a lot of times a good masseuse will tell you, like, you know, they'll ask you kind of pressure you want. You just tell them low. And when they're doing it, like, are you saying you feel that while they're doing it, or you feel that way after the fact? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if they're doing it and it's you feel too much pressure, I would tell them to
because when they feel like when they feel as if they're needing a knot that you particularly have, then they just stay in that one spot, and they just, to me, that's irritating. Like it hurts. So then afterwards, I'm in pain. And before I walked in there, those knots that they say I have didn't hurt me.
But you got them, though. I mean, it may not hurt, but it's just your body has kind of grown accustomed to them.
I guess so.
Those knots they're actually doing. But I get it. I mean, it does. Because I have knots, too. Even this past time I went, I mean, I had one kind of up here. And so it was a little bit more sore after the fact. But I work out and lift weights. So it kind of just felt, to me, it just felt like the soreness of, like, working out a little bit. But I feel you. Yeah. But yeah, I got the massage. That was pretty cool. St. Patrick's Day was last week as well. The weather was really, really nice on that Friday. So Brooke and I, we went and got some lunch at a Yard House. Yeah, we got lunch. We got some beers. We typically, before in the past, drink like green beers, symbolizing St. Patrick's Day. Brooke, she's a big craft beer drinker, and I've kind of grown to like it as well over time.
What's craft beer?
Craft beers are just beers that are done or made like
locally.
Yeah, locally. So it's not like your heavy hitter, Budweiser or your big domestic beers, Coronas and stuff like that. Like craft beers are like beers that a local brewery will brew and make and sell. So,
does it taste different?
Yeah, well, they have different types of beers. So you have like your wheats, your IPAs, your stouts.
Okay, I've had an IPA before.
Yeah, IPAs are my favorite. Yeah,
that's the sweeter ones. Like they taste like.
Now wheats are probably, I would say, what you like. They're more. I ain't gonna say sweet. They're sours. Is that what you're talking about? Because they have that's also another category for beers or sours where they have.
Oh no, I went to a farmhouse brewery and I have like an 80 Works agreement with them, and we go there, we hang out, or whatever, and they do like these. I don't know. It's maybe because y'all drink beer, but I guess you could take a beer and like I think you shake it up and then you crack it and then you like gotta down it like in a certain amount of time. Yeah. I don't even know what it's called.
I don't do that, but yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know I can't remember the term for it either.
Maybe no.
Nah, keg is the
Oh, yeah. See,
yeah.
Like, I'm not a beer drinker
or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
And so they do that. On I think Fridays or whatever, and when I was there,
you did that?
No,
okay.
No, absolutely not. But when I was there, I didn't even get a chance to see it because I was picking up the pizza or whatever because I had ordered pizza for everybody, and anyways. They know that Sophia doesn't drink beer. So they're like, oh, try this IPA. And it was like sweet. Okay. And it tastes like, what was it? Like, it was flavored. I remember that. Okay. And I had one of those. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it's not
your cup of tea.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
But that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, IPAs are my favorite. But
it's not something that I would go and be like, yeah, let me get one of those. No.
Yeah. IPAs are my favorite. I like them because they're, to me, like I like wheats and I like IPAs. IPAs kind of give that little extra kick. Like wheats to me sometimes can kind of feel like I'm just drinking calories. It's pretty.
That's why I don't like beer.
Yeah, you could feel like you're just you're drinking just dirty water sometimes when you're drinking certain beers. But but IPAs they give you like a little flavor kick, and I like IPAs, and that's probably what you're talking about. I think you probably had an IPA.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went there. We didn't put any green in our beer this time. We just kind of drank regular beers. But it was pretty cool to kind of get out, me and her during the afternoon when the kids were at school. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was pretty much our St. Patrick's Day. My son last weekend. He met his soccer coach, so he's starting soccer. So we just transitioned right out from basketball now to soccer, and so they had like the meet and greet with the coach and other his other teammates and parents. So his first game is tomorrow, so definitely looking forward to seeing how that goes. The weather is really good. Yeah. So it's really nice. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow is supposed to be really nice. I think the whole weekend actually supposed to be pretty nice. So definitely looking forward to see how he does. I mean, soccer's kind of been something he's naturally, I would say, gravitated to. That was like the first sport he gravitated to as a young kid, as a young child. So I'm wanting to see how he does, in this new league that he played. Because he's played before, but it was at the Virginia Beach Fieldhouse. So now he's at the Y, and it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm just want to see how he does. So it should be pretty fun.
Yeah. So I did the same thing. I signed up my daughter, Jada, for soccer. So we were supposed to have our meet and greet last weekend, but then the coach canceled it. So we did the meet and greet before the first practice, and first practice was this week on Tuesday, which I'm going to have to run you down on that day because I swear I was everywhere that day. So we have our first game tomorrow, and they actually switched the location again because I believe that there's so many children that are signing up for these programs, and they're getting a big amount of people who want to participate, and they don't have enough space. And so they've been trying to figure out, like, okay, well, where are we going to have all these games and these different events, because it's only so much space that the Y has. So they've been having to kind of branch off and like reach out to like churches and different places to see if they can use their fields to host the event. So at one point our games were slotted out there in Hickory. Like, past you guys.
Yeah.
And now, because Hickory High is like past you.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It was out there.
Okay.
And so now they just changed the location. I haven't really figured out. I'll look at it, tonight. But I got the email this morning, and I took a glance at it, but it was early. I was still in the process of waking up. So I took a look at it. They switched locations again. So hopefully this is the final location, and they got it together.
The game tomorrow,
right?
Yeah, hope so. Yeah.
And then my oldest, she's in full-on volleyball season for the middle school, and she plays for the Y. So we got all of that going on.
That's a lot.
It's a lot,
man. Yeah, I can understand.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And shout out to I think the start of Ramadan was like what, Tuesday, the 22nd, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even know how I would survive if I had to participate in that. Cause man.
Yeah, I got a couple buddies, man, that are Muslim, and they definitely they fast during Ramadan, and it's I know a lot of times, man, it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, I'll fast myself, but not to the extent of that.
No. Yeah, fasting, like, because our fasting is more so you're supposed to something that you sacrifice. Yeah. That's what it is. You sacrifice something that you like. Correct. And you basically go without.
Correct.
That's the type of fasting that I'm used to.
Yeah.
But to not eat from sun up to sundown.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I run around too much to do that. So
that's real tough, man.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like I said, just my definitely thoughts, and hopefully everyone who's going through Ramadan definitely finds what they're looking for and just keeps their mind an eye on the prize.
Yeah.
So
next, come on, tell them about this new whip.
Yeah. We should do a drum roll for that one. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Okay. Nah. Too much. Yeah. Nah.
Listen, he over here. He really think he Jay-Z today.
Hey, look, over. Yeah, man. Nah. So I think I know I mentioned it on prior episodes. I was in the market to get a new vehicle. I've had the same vehicle for about 6 years now, and my family, we got 2 kids that are growing, and so it's just like we're at a point where in my car I have an SUV. My wife drives an SUV, and I drive a car, and so when we're in my car, it's just like it's like we sardines in that joint. It's crazy. So I was like, I needed to get a new vehicle, a truck. And my dream vehicle has always been a Range Rover. Ever since I seen one when I was like in middle school. Probably seen it in like a rap video or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it. 'Cause I didn't see it like out the neighborhood or nothing like that. But I'm pretty sure I saw it on TV and I was like, yeah, I want that. So I finally got myself in position. You know, just like, all right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So and at the end of 2021, mind you, we're in 2023 right now, right? So at the end of 2021, I went to the dealership and went through the process of building one because they allow you to customize it and build it, everything. I mean, everything that you want, you can build it. Everything that was, I'm not gonna say everything you want, but everything that they have available for you, can decide or whatnot for the vehicle. And so they told me it would be done in like 6 or 7 months. So it's supposed to be done at the summer of 2022, so last summer. And I've gotten so many delays. I mean, so much stuff. I ended up finding out that they didn't even put my order in. Like, the lady that I was dealing with, her name was Diamond, same name as my little sister. So I'm thinking like, yo, this is like spirit animal vibe. Like, we're cool. Shorty didn't even put my order in, man. So I was waiting around for 6 months, and she never even turned my stuff in. So I was pretty upset, to say the least. Was even thinking about...
Diamond was black, was she?
She was a sister. She was a sister.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, she was definitely a sister, man. But yeah, anyway, long story short, the vehicle finally came in last weekend. I was able to pick it up on Monday, and it was worth the wait, man. It is amazing. It's a 7-seater autobiography, 2023 Range Rover. I mean, it's nasty. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It's nasty. That's all I can say. Like, I was on the interstate driving it, and I've gotten so many people just look at me like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like King Kong or something. People just like looking like
listen, y'all. So we get to work this morning, right? We pull up, and usually, for the most part, we park next to each other when we at the office because I don't know, it's almost like our assigned parking, right?
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
park
Everybody,
right next to each
you know
other.
how it is when you work. Like, it's not assigned parking.
It's not assigned parking, but you park
we
in
park
your
at the same spot all the
right?
time. Yeah.
So
yeah.
He pull up. And he parked like way in the back over to the side. I'm like, oh, so you can't park next to my car?
Nah, man. Nah, I can't. I can't. It was funny. So my book, yeah, that's real. That's absolutely real. And it'll be that way for a minute. I'm actually going to go get the car washed today. Like, it's only been 4 or 5 days, and I'm going to go wash it today. All that pollen. Hilarious. But it's crazy because Brooke the other day, I have a 2-car garage. My garage is one of the ones that's like, it's actually really, really big, where it's like, it's on the side of the house, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's one of those wraparound garages or whatever. So, and we never, I have like a deep freezer, some stuff, in the garage, just.
You put the car in the garage?
Man, I put the car in the garage.
Lord.
Yeah. I put, for one night though, but it's like, the truck is very massive. It's pretty big to the point where, like, it was really tight. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do this every single day. And really the reason I want to do it is because of the pollen. And then, like, I just didn't want to have to defrost the car in the morning because when I go to the gym, having to defrost the car.
He was defrosting the car, y'all.
Yeah, man. So yeah. The range, what they say, the eagle has landed. The range is here. I'm excited. I'm happy. Yeah, man, it's like I said, I'm just excited, man. This has literally been a dream come true.
It's just hilarious how men are with their cars. Like, I know for me, I don't really care about cars for real. You know what I mean? I like to decorate, actually. That's like my, like, something that I like. Like, I like to have my house looking nice, smelling good, doing all that stuff. So, like, a car, I could ride around in whatever, as long as it's like not falling apart. Like, that irritates me when you gotta go and get stuff fixed and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty frugal when it comes to a car. But men, y'all be on another level. Even my husband.
For real.
Same way. Like, he just recently bought a car.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm the one that need the car. But yet I can't find it in my heart to go get one. I feel like.
How long, the car you have now, how long have you had it for?
It's an 18.
Okay, so yeah, it's what, you bought it brand new?
I bought it brand new.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been what, 4 or 5 years, I guess, probably? Right?
Yeah, it's been paid off for about a year and a half now. Only thing I have to do is get maintenance on it. Yeah. It get me from point A to point B.
They should say back in the A to B car.
It's funny though, because when I get out of it, it don't fit me, but at the same time, it's kind of like, It's paid for.
I feel you. Like on some real, I feel you. Like I understand. Like I mean, and honestly, for a guy, I'm not like that guy that like loves cars. Like I'm not that at all. To be honest with you, I've only had 3 vehicles my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And so
okay.
yeah. And
one
of those was a hand-me-down. Like one of those was a truck that my dad drove that I drove in high school that broke down when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? It was like a 1980 something. You know what I mean? But for me, it was just like, you know, I know a lot of people, like a lot of my peers. I told you, I kind of mentioned it before on the episode where
we
like,
get back into the corny.
Yeah, well, see, there you go with the corny. There you go. Nah, I'm talking about like, you know, growing up. I remember like some of my peers. Like I felt like, you know, I remember Jay-Z. You mentioned Jay-Z earlier. He said, "Stick to the script." So I know I know my peers would buy these big flashy cars when they were like 21, 22, getting into their career, but then they didn't. They were living in like, you know, at home still, or they was living in like an unfavorable area, and they didn't own their home that they were living in. And so for me, at a young age, I was like, look, I'm gonna buy something first, buy a house first. So that first check that I got, first money I started making real money, I bought a home first, you know, and then let that kind of build and kind of have me a good foundation. And then so now this is my, you know, now I'm rewarding myself 15 years later buying my dream vehicle, you know, versus buying it when I really didn't have the money to afford it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's kind of a big deal for me. You know, like I said, I'm not a big car person, but this is nasty. I like it a lot, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to find places to go. Where we going next? So I can drive around. You know
so
what I'm
you
saying?
Can drive there?
Yeah, just
put all the miles on it.
Yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna. I'm playing, which I ain't gonna do that. But I'm definitely gonna find some places to drive though, for sure.
That's funny.
For sure. Yeah.
Men in y'all cars, well, I tell you. I know my husband was like, he told me how much he paid monthly.
Yeah.
I said, damn.
You don't even want to know how much I'm paying monthly.
I mean, I don't. But
that was true. Brooke and I, we kind of got a little argument about that when we talked about how much the payment was. Because I told her how much it cost, but I think once she heard how much the payment was, it really set in like, yeah, that's a bill. Like that's a mortgage. Like,
listen, his car note is $1,200.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say how much mine is. Yeah.
My mortgage on my duplex is $14.
Yeah.
I said, you go ahead and you keep buying them damn cars. I'll keep buying these houses.
I heard that. I heard that.
You paying a bill, I'm getting back.
There you go. I don't blame you. Yeah. I can't even say nothing about that one. I just got to tuck my head.
Tuck your tail.
Tuck my tail and just keep over smiling. That's it.
But at least you got houses though.
Yeah.
You know, you got other income that's paying for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes
For sure.
Got to treat yourself sometime. One day I'm gonna treat myself.
There you go.
One day this year, next year, I'm gonna have to buy something.
You got to.
I mean, I should have bought something 2 years ago, but one day. Yeah. One day. Yeah. I gotta make more money.
There you go. I hear you.
Yeah, so on another note, I've been struggling getting to these chiropractic appointments.
Okay.
To the point where I'm like, look, because I'm going twice a week. I missed my appointment on, Tuesday? Like, I totally forgot. Like, no, it was Wednesday. I'm sorry. It was Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I woke up. I had this person that I've been wanting to meet with. She was finally like, yeah, come in at this time. So I was like, shoot, I'm on my way. So I got dressed. When I tell you that appointment slipped my mind, they called me like, you coming? I was like, oh, shit, I forgot about this appointment. Mm-hmm. So yesterday when I went in for the makeup appointment or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. There was a guy next to me, and the doctor, I feel like he was kind of throwing some shade. He was like, oh, this is great. This is, I think he'd been there for like a year. He was like, you never missed any appointments and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like...
That's what the chiropractor said?
Yeah. I looked up like, yeah, okay. I'm going to keep missing them. Like, I paid for it. You still got to honor that.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, 2 weeks. So how's that been going, though? Like twice a week? Because I go once every 2 weeks. So I've been... And I missed my last appointment because, matter of fact, the day that I got my massage last week was the same day I was supposed to have my last appointment. So I actually need to call because I should have went this week, but I'm going to call them and try to set up something next week. But how has it been going with that amount, like going that amount of times? Like two times a week, right?
Inconvenient as hell.
Inconvenient.
I can't. I'm about to call and be like, look, It ain't about the money. I ain't got the time. Like, I get it. The appointments are like, what, 10 minutes tops?
Yeah,
like,
really
they ain't, but obviously getting there takes time.
Is it close to where you live? How is it?
Yeah,
like,
it ain't far.
Is it far from you?
No, it's not far at all. But it's just a matter of like, what day does it flow? And see, my schedule is never like, only thing that's consistent is my morning routine and pretty much my morning routine. Like,
double down on the morning routine.
And every day I have to get my daughter off the bus.
Yeah.
So, you know, that those two things are kind of like set. Everything else in between time, I'm either, you know, doing work stuff, going here. I still got to take care of my household. I still got to clean, still got to do all the things that, you know, it takes to run your household. So it's never the same. I'm always doing something. I got meetings here, lunches there. I'm across town here. I got, you know, projects going on that I have to check on. I got maintenance stuff. I got maintenance stuff at my own house. I mean, it's just always everywhere. And every time I reschedule, it's like, because what happened on Wednesday, I rescheduled for Thursday morning, but then the people who came to fix my dryer, they came at 8. So I was like, okay, we got to reschedule again. And then we rescheduled for 4. And I was on the phone with a client, and I just so happened to look at the time. I was like, oh, snap, I got to go. Like, you know, it's kind of like when people call in our job, if it's money, what you going to do? You're going to stop what you're doing to figure out how you can, you know, make that money. Pretty much. I mean, unless it's like something like crazy important, for the most part, we don't really put our phones down.
Correct.
You know, so.
Yeah, sure. I just looked at my phone just now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
it's gotta be
obviously in this, you can't pick up the phone and talk, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of a little bit restricted, but when we're out and about and you with your family, it's easy to be like, okay, I got to take this call.
Correct.
Because ain't nobody recording you. Y'all not watching. Yeah. But y'all can't hear the conversation. But we can't, because we can't, you know, have that kind of conversation out for the public. But it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm like, look, twice a week, I don't know if I can do it. I just don't got the time. Like, I'm only one person.
Nah, I hear you.
Look.
I hear you. So, some interesting news, though, that's been going on in our world, in real estate and mortgage and banking and finance. So I know about 2 weeks ago now, Silicon Valley Bank actually got to the point where they had a bank run, is what they call, and they didn't have enough money to give the money to the depositors. So the people who have accounts there, the bank itself ran out of money. So there were folks that had money in the bank but couldn't get access to it. So that was a really, really big deal.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that was a really, really big deal. Oh. Yeah, it was a really, really big deal.
I didn't read that. Yeah. I read that they had the deposits of the money to give back to the people, but they didn't have money to continue like lending and stuff like that.
Gotcha. No, they didn't. So like, let's say you had $300,000 in the bank and you wanted to go take your money out your bank. They didn't have enough money in for some people, I guess, because everybody was going at the same time.
You mean like cash? Or
I'm talking about money. Yeah, however you want to talk about the money.
But
withdraw the money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they didn't have enough money to be able to make good on those accounts that were within their bank. So
did that include like checks?
What do you mean? Does it include checks?
Does it include that they couldn't write a check for that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only asked because I don't know. You know, I was just wondering.
Oh.
Because I used to work in that industry.
Yeah.
And if somebody came in saying they want to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in cash, we ain't have it either.
Understood. But
that's
guess
why
what they're
I
saying,
was being specific on like, what do you mean by that?
Correct. Yeah. So if you have money in the bank and you wanted to move the money, transfer the money, access the money, the bank didn't have money. They didn't have money to be able to make good on your money that you have in your account. So you know how people look at their phone and say, hey, they have X amount of dollars?
So I thought that the government didn't bail them out. They didn't need to bail them out.
What do you mean?
I thought that they had the money to give to everybody. Because didn't Biden say that they didn't need the government to bail them out?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know what I was reading there.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. I don't know what you confusing me. You asked me
Look, I'm trying to get clarification because I didn't read what you read.
Yeah. That's so again. What happened was they didn't have enough money to make good on the people who had money in those accounts.
Okay.
And Silicon Valley Bank is mainly like a startup bank, right? So a lot of times, out there in Silicon Valley, you got a lot of people who go out there. They raise money to start their company up, right? And so you have a lot of investors. So there's a lot of money that you're dealing with when it comes to those people and that bank itself. And so when people were trying to access that money, they weren't able to make good on those accounts. And so what Biden ended up announcing literally 2 days later over that weekend, because that happened on a Friday. So Sunday, they came out and said that that the government was going to step in and help make good on those accounts. That the people who run the bank were going to immediately have to be terminated, lose their job now that the government was kind of intervening in the situation and stepping in. Mm-hmm. And so what that did, though, in the mortgage world, it actually dropped rates. It had a positive impact because it showed that the government was going to help and stand and make sure that everything was going to happen, in a positive way. So that gave mortgage-backed securities basically, quote unquote, lack of a better term, security. It showed that, hey, the government has the back of the people and the economy to try to make sure things run smoothly. And so therefore rates actually dropped about 0.5 point, that starting that next week. Mm-hmm. And then this past week, Jerome Powell came out and actually raised rates again.
0.25%.
A quarter point this time. But the good thing about this, though, is what he also said is he said that they've been raising rates like this for almost a year now. It's been about 8 to 10 months. They've been doing this consistently each month when they have their meeting. And inflation really hasn't gone down very much. I mean, it's gone down small amounts, but not as much as they thought it would do with the different rate hikes that they've been doing. Mm-hmm. So what Jerome Powell hinted and said yesterday or on Wednesday was that they're going to start trying to do something else, basically. And that's what I mentioned. I actually did a video on social media. I was like, these rate hikes that they're doing, it's not working. I understand what the concept of it, but I mean, once you've been doing this for almost a better part of a year now, you got to pivot. Mm-hmm. In life, sometimes, and I know a lot of folks are stubborn. When you think you have a plan or something and you want to just kind of, what they say, do it until the building just catches on fire behind you. But sometimes when you see that it's not working, you got to pivot, and so that's
in all aspects, though. That's in life, too.
That's in life, yeah. So that was actually encouraging to hear him say, hey, the likelihood of them doing another rate hike is probably low, and that they were going to maybe take a look at maybe some credit tightening or some other different things that they could do to potentially help combat inflation. So correct. After that, rates actually went down again because there was, again, positive signs like, hey, they're going to stop these rate hikes. And so rates, I mean, they've went down, I would say, in the last 2 weeks about a full point, which is really, really good. So I'm starting to see a lot more. I mean, I was already, even before this, getting a lot of activity in the market, but even, more so now because of, the good, just the good rates that are now starting to come out. So, or the lower rates, I should say, that are starting to come out now. So it's giving people more reason to purchase and take advantage of, where we are in the market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some really good news. Now I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, I was watching the news and they said the rates went down. And I'm like, yeah, they did go down, but don't expect for it to go from a 7 to a 4.
Correct. Yeah. It's within moderation. Yeah. And I have that conversation with folks a lot of times, too. Like, folks think like, when we say rates go down, I mean, rates are in eighths. So, we could say it go down and it could be an eighth or a quarter or even 3/8. But, it's not like, hey, today it's 7, tomorrow it's 3. Like, that's
not what we mean.
Yeah. It's not something like that, Yeah. But it is, like I said, I always try to look at it from the bigger picture. I mean, it's looking like things are,
headed in a different direction.
Right, exactly. They're not, because rates are normally either staying the same, going up, or going down, right? So we always wanted to not go up, so we wanted to, either stay the same or go down, right? And so, lately rates have been going down, so that's positive, and that's positive news, because, lately we've been getting a lot of negative news and a lot of negative pubs out there talking about, it's not a good time to buy and all this and all that. But, with rates going a little bit lower, I think that gives some folks some encouragement. So, yeah.
Let the rates keep going down.
Yep.
I'm in the market to refinance too.
Yep. That's right.
I ain't mad at it. All right, guys. So you know what time it is. It's time for Exercise Your Knowledge. So if you're new to the podcast, we ask a mortgage-related question, and we want you to think about the answer to this question, and then we'll reveal it later on in the episode. So today's Exercise Your Knowledge question is, which loan program recently reduced the PMI percentage? And I think we talked about this a few weeks back.
We did. So if our listeners, if people who listen, if they're listening to us consistently, they should know this answer. Just be able to spit it out that quickly. Yeah. If you don't, if you're new to
you should have heard it in the news. If you one of the news watchers,
yeah.
should have heard it in the news because this was a huge change that happened just a few weeks ago. So.
Correct.
Moving forward, today's topic, we're going to actually talk about contingency periods. I know that you may, if you're a homeowner, you probably heard this term in the past, but probably didn't quite understand what it meant. If you are a first-time home buyer and you're looking to purchase, you will hear this term at some point during your transaction. And we're also going to talk about income and what that means to you as a buyer, qualifying income versus household income. Income that we can use versus the income we just have to make sure we know about.
Correct.
And kind of give you a good idea as to what all this terminology kind of means to you as the consumer.
Correct.
So how does the contingency periods help you, right? So the contingency period is basically an amount of time that is written in the contract that allows you to do your due diligence, right? So, for example, the home inspection contingency. So typically when you write a contract, you're going to indicate to the seller that you're looking to get a home inspection on the property. And we talked about what a home inspection is. A home inspection is when you have someone come out, take a look at the property thoroughly, and determine exactly what's going on with the property, and they're going to tell you everything. So it doesn't matter if it's a doorknob that's loose or if it's your HVAC that's going out. They're going to spit out all the possible things that are wrong with the property. And with the home inspection contingency period, the seller allows you a certain amount of time to get this done, to negotiate with them, and then if you find on that home inspection that there's something that you just absolutely don't want to deal with, you can actually walk away from the property. And you don't have to worry about breaching contract. This is something that allows you as a buyer to determine if this house is a good fit for you.
That's right.
Did you want to add anything else into that?
Yeah. I mean, lately I've been seeing a lot of folks walk away.
Yes.
During this, contingency period, as Sophia mentioned. Typically when someone, an agent, and for the most part, writes in a contingency period, it's typically about 7 to 10 days.
Yes.
It's kind of the normal that we see. So as soon as a person gets under contract, the first thing that they do after that is schedule the home inspection, as Sophia mentioned. Because that gives, that contingency period basically says, hey, we're under contract, so you do, plan to purchase this home, but we will give you a window of time for you to look into anything that you want to look into to, make that final decision on moving forward or not, right? So that's what that contingency period is for. And so I've been seeing a lot of folks look at home inspections, be a little bit overwhelmed because it does have a lot of things that are normally on there. Typically, unless you're buying a new home, and even new homes, when you have a home inspection, there'll be things that'll show up on there as well, because the home inspector's job is to look and find things, so they will find things. But, if you're talking about a home that was built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there are going to be things that, that are on the home.
Everybody had, it doesn't matter what house you live in, even new construction, there's something that can be better. Yeah,
exactly. I always look at it, I make a joke when I talk to folks like, look at someone who was born in 1960 and them now, like they've probably had some issues, health issues, just whatever through life, because there's a life expectancy to everything, right? For a home as well. So, it shouldn't always deter you from buying a home. And that's something that I've been trying to educate a lot of folks on, especially coming out of the season that we just came out of, because, what I'm also seeing is that you had a lot of folks who bought houses during the pandemic, And one of the things that they were waiving the right to is waiving the right to a home inspection because they were trying to be competitive. And what happened is a lot of folks were buying houses that had stuff, underlying issues going on, right?
And they didn't even know.
And they didn't even know, right? And so now they're being told by their peers, hey, this is happening, this is happening, this is breaking, be cautious of this. I had to do this, I had to do that. And so now when home inspections are kind of now, a normal thing again, you're having those conversations, with your employees, your family, or whatever. Then you get this list and you talk to the home inspector. It's already putting you in that negative mindset about, the home inspection process itself or that contingency period. So I always just want to tell folks to keep an open mind about it because I'm on both sides. Like I'm, as a mortgage loan officer helping you with your financing, obviously I want you to feel comfortable about the process. I'm also an investor, so I do sell homes. And I can't tell you, I've seen so many times where I've had people walk away on a house that I've fully rehabbed for things that are pretty frivolous, right? In the grand scheme of things, if you're familiar with kind of how that process looks, right? If just the pressure of the water is not coming out, where you can get a plumber to check, we can get that fixed. Like those are small things that, once they're itemized on a list, you see a list of 10 to 12 things, you're like, oh my gosh, and then you don't feel great about, buying the house anymore. Correct. So just want to make sure that you keep an open mind about that process, the contingency process, the contingency time frame, and what a home inspection looks like and what it does.
Correct. Yeah.
Also, moisture and termite inspections. We didn't mention that very much, but in this area
we have high termite infestation. So
and moisture as well.
And moisture. Yeah.
So that's another thing that most folks typically get done in that contingency period is they'll get a moisture and termite inspection, especially if your house is like on a crawl space. You definitely want to make sure that the foundation of your home is solid, right? Correct. So that's one of those things where if you have a pretty big issue when it comes to
crawl space?
On my home, yes, I do.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. In my home, I have a crawl space.
I don't have a crawl space. I'm on a slab. So,
got you.
If you don't know what the difference is, so basically, mine is a slab. It's built on a slab of concrete.
Yeah.
And then a crawl space meaning that there's a space between where your home starts and the actual ground, and you can actually crawl through it. Correct. Yeah, so it's just elevated. Yeah. The foundation itself is just a little bit elevated off the ground, and there's positives. There's positives to both.
Yeah, there's positives.
Honestly, I know for me, I like I don't really have to deal with moisture as much as being an issue, right? But if there's anything that's happening underground underneath my slab that I'm not aware of and anything happens under there, it costs a lot of money to get there and to break that concrete, have your house jacked up and all the repairs that come with that. So that's the benefit and the downfall of being on a concrete slab. But
correct.
For someone like Bryan, who's on in a crawl space, now you're dealing with the moisture that then damages, some of your foundation and your joists
and beams,
and things that can kind of rot out and get damaged and basically mess up the integrity of the home.
Correct.
And the foundation of the property. So they all have positives. You just got to, make sure that whatever home you're in, to the best of your ability, you know what's going on with it before you actually buy it. And that's why the home inspection is something that you should have, because they check that for you. And as long as what they say, the bones are good in the property, then you should be fine. I just recently had someone go through a home inspection, and there was some things on there that I ain't gonna lie, I would have questioned. And they were like, "Oh no, we can fix that." Guess what? They just got $23,000 in equity after the appraisal. So they're walking into instant equity.
That's awesome.
So basically, they most appraisals nowadays, they usually come in like right at the sales price, maybe a couple thousand over. So it's not too many homes that are just, crazy about a lot of money over what the sales price is. And this particular young couple actually is walking into instant equity, and I think that's great. And they weren't afraid of some of the repairs that the home inspector said needed to be done, and I think that's awesome.
And that's the thing. I mean, when it comes to real estate, I mean that sometimes that's going to be the case. You can use that as a negotiation, piece when it comes to some things that maybe need to be done, and you could potentially get a home, like you said, under market value, which is really, really good. So when you do fix those things up, that'll only help increase the value of the home.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to kind of look at some things. When you're buying a house, you got to look at it. I mean, obviously you're going to live there.
Look at the bigger picture.
What do you say?
Bigger picture.
Yeah, bigger picture. And look at it as an investment. I mean, that's what it ultimately is. I mean, you're building wealth through real estate when you're purchasing a home, you know. And so obviously it's a place to live, so you want to be safe, you want to be cost effective, but you also got to take in consideration the other part too, because that's also going to be involved when it comes to when you sell it or if you rent it out or whatever the situation may be,
Yeah.
So,
Then I had another buyer who walked away from home inspection. Now this was an older couple, right? And the HVAC system in the house was 20 plus years old. And in their particular circumstance, and when I say they're older, okay? I ain't 60 and less, I ain't even them old. Let's just say that, right? And with them in particular, honestly, I can understand why they don't want to deal with something like a HVAC being that old, especially because the wife is the caretaker to the husband, and they're like, dynamic of being busy, and she's, only one person. So I get why she walked away, but she ended up getting under contract for a house right in the same neighborhood, and that house is in impeccable shape. So
okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, she was really happy. I was happy for her. I mean, you know how houses are nowadays. They pretty much, if you live in a community, they all kind of look the same. They got some features that may be slightly different, but they all kind of resemble each other. Yeah. So home inspections.
Yeah. So that's
contingency periods.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
They're important. They're key, and they do help you as a buyer to kind of determine, what's going on with the property. And, right now, the way things are, you have the ability to have these contingency periods written in your contract. I mean, as rates lower, hopefully we don't get back into what we dealt with a year and a half ago where you didn't even have the option. Well, you had the option, but if you wanted to buy a house, you pretty much didn't have an option. It was kind of one of those things where you could do it if you want to, but then you would kind of be wasting your time. So
correct.
Now that you have the ability to have things like contingency periods and time to kind of like do thorough checks on these properties, take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. We also wanted to kind of talk today about income a little bit, right?
Income.
Yeah, so there's plenty of times, we have conversations with folks when they complete an application, whether it's there's an income portion where they put down their income. A lot of times folks think they
overestimate the hell out of their income.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to be polite with my words, but nah, Sophia just went straight to the jugular. Yeah, they overestimate their income very much, especially when it comes into adding extra stuff, right? So, a lot of times if you have somebody who's an employee who gets an hourly rate, works 40 hours a week, that's easy. They know, your hourly rate, you know how much you get paid, boom. Or if someone is a salaried employee, right? Salary employee, you know what your salary is. So when you fill out it'll ask, if you know your salary amount, you can put the salary in, boom, that's easy. Where it gets tricky, though, is when you are getting, like, overtime or if you're getting, like, bonuses consistently.
Commission?
Or even if you're a commissioned employee, right? So, like, as we mentioned, I just recently bought a vehicle. Most, I would say, car salesmen, from my understanding, most of the ones I've helped purchase houses over the years, they get paid by commission. So they get paid as they close or as people buy cars, right?
Real estate agents.
Yeah, real estates too. Yeah, real estate agents as well get paid by commission. We get paid by commission, right? So it's a different way that you have to factor in. You can't say, hey, my income off my best month, this is what it is. Like when it comes to income that's not a consistent as an hourly wage where you're working the same hours each week, every week, or a salary that you're getting paid on an annual basis, anytime there's variable income, because that's what we call it, variable income, we have to average it, right? And typically, we want to see that you've had it for about 2 years. Sometimes 1 year is okay if we can get something from your employer saying that the likelihood of it continuing is high.
Or if you've been in the same industry.
Yeah, or if you've been in the same industry as well. But then we'll look at, obviously, like your year-to-date as well and see that, if you're still receiving this overtime or you're still receiving this bonus income. And a lot of times, that's very important, especially in this higher rate environment, because, you may not qualify just based on your base pay, right? Sometimes your overtime or your bonus that you receive every quarter or every month or at the end of the year, whatever your job, however it works, it could help launch you to qualify for something a little bit more than what you were initially thinking you qualify for, right?
Correct.
But we always want to make sure that we are able to evaluate that. We typically have to get what's called a written verification of employment from your employer, which breaks down that income and breaks down, if it's going to continue, if it's something that you've earned in the past, and kind of what those numbers look like. Because if that income, like let's say, for instance, you receive a bonus every year, right, or every month, if that bonus amount that we look at it from a year basis is declining, then we probably are not going to be able to use that when it comes to qualifying, because we're seeing a trend of it declining. So we don't want to base what we give a mortgage on something that is already trending in the downward direction. So you want to add anything, I guess, about income when it comes to?
Yeah, well, for me, one thing that I've seen here lately, in addition to what Bryan kind of touched on, was knowing the difference between qualifying income and household income, right? And what that means to you as a borrower. So just like Bryan said, we have to see that history of overtime and bonus, and we have to know that you've been in your job for a year or two if you're commissioned. But that might not always mean that we can use that income to qualify. So there's a portion of your income that we may use to qualify you, because that's what can be used to purchase this home. But then we also know that you have household income, so you have this additional income. Doesn't mean that we're using it to qualify you, but we know that it's there. So what happens for us is when we're looking at the difference in the two, there are certain programs that are out there that have, especially with the grant programs and the city programs, they have these income requirements. And so although we may take a look at your base income and qualify you with that income, we're still considering the overall amount of money that you make, and we use that to determine what your household income is. And if that income is above the income limit for the particular grant program that you're interested in, then that alone could not qualify you for the particular program that you're interested in. So just kind of identifying like, hey, okay, just because I make all this money doesn't mean that all of it can be used when it comes to purchasing a property.
Correct.
Is important. Especially like, for example, another good example is, because I know a lot of people like to Uber and DoorDash and do those kind of self-employed side businesses. Let's say you work for FedEx and you work and you get paid $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. Okay, cool. You've been there for 10 years. All right, great. We can use that income. But let's just say you just started Ubering, and the last 6 months you've been doing Uber Eats and you've made $1,000 in the last 6 months. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'm making all this extra money. But guess what? As from the lending standpoint, we can't use that Uber income. Although it's great, you're making it. We have to know that you're making it, but we can't use it to qualify you for the mortgage.
Yeah, but it will be considered
But it will be considered as a part of your household income.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
So that's important to know.
It is.
You know,
it's a good point.
Knowing that all income can't be used. What
right.
they say, what's that old saying?
Well,
all money ain't
all money ain't good money. Yeah. Yeah, all money not good money. I know that to be true. Lord, I know it to be true. Yes, I do.
How do you know it to be true so well?
It's
from growing up, like the streets and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and it just work
like,
too.
What?
Just work, honestly, just like
doing something strange for a piece of change.
Nah, man, never. Don't put that on my name. Never. I'm just talking about in general.
It sounded like he was speaking from experience.
I am speaking from experience, but that's a broad topic. I'm just talking about. I'm really just dumbing it down to like even what we do today. Like, you know, I mean, there are clients that will call me and want me to help them, and sometimes for me, like, there's some folks that we talk to who don't want to be helped, but they act like they want to be helped. Mm-hmm. That's why I said all money is not good money, because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and invest my time and energy into you when ultimately you really don't want to be helped. You just want to go through the motion of acting like you wanted to be helped.
Correct.
And that's why I said all money is not good money. Even if it ends up something coming from it where you could, you know, we're able to work it out and you could potentially buy a home, like sometimes I'll just say, hey, I'm not that person for you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I just had a conversation with an agent yesterday. Me and her met for the first time on the phone, and we were talking, and I was like, you know, I think it's important for us to, you know, like to work together. Like it's one thing to work with somebody, but I am a believer of, it has to be, we have to work easy together. Yeah. Like, I can't be stressed out working with you. Correct. Because then I got so much stuff going on that I don't really have that time to have, like, mental breakdowns every time I have a conversation with you, because it's so hard. Correct. And that's just something that I don't subscribe to. So I get it. I get what you mean. Yeah. All right, guys, so now it's time for the answer to exercise your knowledge. So if you fast forwarded through all that and you just want to kind of know the answer to exercise your knowledge, we got you. So earlier in the segment, we asked a question in regards to a recent change in reducing the PMI percentage, and we wanted to know which program recently made that change. And so the answer to today's question is, drum roll. This is the proper drum roll. Right. Yeah. It's FHA. Yeah. So you guys, FHA reduced their PMI percentage from 0.85% down to 0.55%, which is huge. So remember that. Take notes when you're taking a look at your paperwork. It's something that you can actually calculate if you're good at math. Now, if you got an E in math or maybe a D, it might be a little difficult. But
don't call them folks out. Don't call them out.
But Google is our friend. Let me tell you.
And a calculator too.
And a calculator. Yeah. Yes, Google is key. I use Google for everything.
Yeah, me too.
Listen. I use Google for everything. I mean, what was it? I wasn't feeling good or something. What was it? I think I told you about it. I wasn't feeling good or something like that, and I Googled it, and all this stuff started coming up, and I start panicking, like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm dying.
Yeah, that's one thing I
and all I had was a headache.
Yeah, all I had was a headache. Yeah, that's one thing I don't do. When I'm not feeling well, I would try not to look it up, because you're right. When you go to Google, it'll just tell you, like person be looking stressed out, be all. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't look. And then when you see it, you start acting like you feel that way. I'm
like, oh, like my fingers was like.
I did cough like that time. Like,
that one time.
Yeah, that one time. You know
was
what I'm
barking.
Yeah, you were barking. Yo, you stupid, man. Oh, man.
All right. Okay, so FHA. Use Google, but also stay away from Google. Yeah. The PMI dropped from 0.85 to down to 0.55. Yep. So what you got coming up? I don't really have any. I plan to relax this weekend. Please. Maybe go see Creed. Please. And then of course, you know, we got soccer tomorrow and we got volleyball, but that's it for me. Yeah. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I got a pretty eventful weekend, man. Today is my good buddy Shalamar's birthday. He turns the big 42. Okay. So, you know, his wife actually has and I can say this now because by the time it comes out, it'll be after the fact. Yep. But his wife has a nice surprise birthday for him today at the house. It's kind of like a casino-themed party. Oh, that's dope. You know, so that should be pretty cool. But I've been tasked to get him out of the house so when he comes back and when we come back together to his house, that's when the surprise happens. So I'm playing a very vital role into this whole I guess you can consider surprise birthday party. So today She's actually going to be dropping. So me and another buddy, I told you it's 3 of us in the neighborhood that were really, really close. And so me and my buddy Sherman.
That's how many black people live in their neighborhood.
Hey, chill. Chill.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, we roll tight. We probably got about 4 or 5, you know. But anyway, yeah, us 3, man, we became really good friends over the last couple of years. So Sherman and I are going to go to this it's a place called Barrel Room over in the Edinburgh area. It's like a little whiskey place or whatever. And so we're going to be there at like 5:20, and then his wife, Shalimar's wife's going to come and bring him up there. And so he's going to think that the surprise is, hey, we're there to have a drink and chill, because this is a place, I guess, that he's been wanting to go to. So she's giving like a small surprise to think that is the surprise. So then he's supposed to get in my vehicle. We're gonna drive to my house, and then we typically said we were gonna get like a birthday cigar with each other. So we're gonna walk back to his house to get the birthday cigar, and then everyone's gonna be there. It's gonna be a surprise or whatever. So
where everybody gonna park at?
It's a good question. I don't know. He does have his house is on the side, so I guess we were talking about that. We've been secretly texting, trying to figure it out, like, because she's gonna have it set up where it's like it's indoor, outdoor. So when we walk from my house to his house, it'll like everybody will probably be standing outside. It's supposed to be really nice this evening, so it may just be something where, like, before you can get to where the cars are on the other side of the house, everybody will be outside. So she's trying to kind of plan for that, because that was a question that I actually asked myself. But yeah,
that's always the factor right there. If
cars.
It's not in a public area, if it's at someone's house,
where's everybody gonna park?
Where everybody gonna park at? Because everybody's adults, right? Unless you can carpool, but I mean, who's gonna?
Yeah. So that's gonna be this evening for me. Tomorrow.
Is it kid friendly?
No. We got a babysitter. Brooke's mother's watching. She's coming by to watch our kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's what's up.
Not kid friendly. But then tomorrow morning, Niall has his first soccer game of the season, so we're looking forward to that.
I wonder if we on the same field.
Maybe. I know. Area. So there. I know you mentioned earlier. I know the YMCA that we live closest to is right there on Battlefield. It's considered like the Great Bridge, I guess you can call YMCA. So there's a church directly across the street.
Oh, that's where we are.
And it's a big field behind that church.
That's where we are.
Okay, so that's where we're playing.
I remember something about a church in Great Bridge. So
okay, yeah, so it's probably the same place then. So yeah, we play tomorrow at 10.
I won't see you then.
Okay, no. What time y'all play?
2.
2. Okay, yeah, we be going by there.
Yeah, you'll be in the wind.
Yeah,
like y'all be done about 10:45.
Correct. So we got Niall's first game, so that's gonna be fun. And then he also has a birthday party that he's invited to. That's at 1:30 tomorrow. One of his buddies has been in his class for the last couple of years.
Nice.
So we're gonna go to that at Funville in Virginia Beach. It's gonna be a good time for the youngins to do, run around, go crazy there. So we're doing that after his game, and then my dad, he wants to check out my new vehicle. So after the birthday party, me and Niall, the fellas, are going to run over to my parents' house and have my dad check out the vehicle a little bit, maybe check out a little bit of the March Madness basketball game or something, and then go back home to the ladies. So,
all right. Yeah. Well, you heard it.
Yep.
The vehicle's hot.
Yeah.
Well, we love to end the day on a positive note. So, I'll let you go ahead and take the honor of reading
quote of the day.
Quote of the day.
All right. So this quote of the day says, "The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are." Mm-hmm. So I think that pretty much explains itself, in itself, where like, hey, the first step is to, realize, hey, I'm here where I am now, but I'm not going to stay where I'm at. I'm going to progress and move forward in the direction of whatever I want to set my mind to, or whatever goal that you may have. So
exactly.
Most definitely. That's good. That's
yes, dope. That is good. Well, that's all the time that we have for you guys today. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Mine's is SKB_mortgage.
Yeah, but mine is Bryan, BRYAN _Royster, ROYSTER.
There's got to be a better way we could do that.
What you mean?
Bryan with the Y.
Bryan with the Y. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I always spell it because most folks they assume it's going to be I. I think that's the more traditional way of spelling it. So, you know, I always want to make sure folks know I got that Y instead of that I. You know what I mean?
Well, look, that's the reason why I did SKB, because I wasn't finna sit here and be like, well, it's SOFIA.
Yeah, spell your name out. Yeah. That's true.
All right, guys. So thank you for listening to our podcast, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.